I'm Dr. George C. Fraser. Did you know that it will take 228 years for black families to amass the same wealth as white families? This striking reality is a fundamental truth we must address, regardless of who the president is. If we don't get on code and put black people first, we will always remain at the bottom of America's agenda forever. Vicki Dillard and Dr. Rick Mathis presents B1, the podcast series, where we bring the voices of black leaders, thinkers, and change makers to the forefront. This is a conversation about being on code. What does it mean to be on code and put black first? Being on code means being sensitive to what the group needs to survive and thrive, and putting those needs first and foremost before one's personal needs. It's our birthright to have prosperity. But if we can't get on code, we sentence our unborn seeds to a continued life of servitude. It's time we vote with our dollars and buy the candidate that supports a black agenda. And we must hold their feet to the fire. This podcast is a rally cry for our community to prioritize our people, our progress, and our prosperity. We're all we got, but we're all we need. For years, despite our sacrifices and contributions to build America, we remain at the bottom of most economic categories. This isn't about race. It's about righting a wrong that we've endured over 400 years. This 6-part series will explore powerful stories, actionable strategies, and inspiring movements designed to uplift and empower our community. It's more than just a podcast. It's a movement inspired by B1, the movie, which features a custom curriculum that you can share with your family and friends. Together, we can redefine our future and ensure that we remain at the top of our agenda. Join us on this journey to transform black empowerment from a dream into a reality. Let's get on code and put black first, now and forever. It's time to be one. You must become the president of your own household. I'm Dr. George C. Fraser.
What is it going to take for black people to establish a code of conduct that puts black people first?
No Chinese person, no Latino, no Arab, no Jew, no white man has ever had to be asked such a question.
The first thing that we have to have is a code, and that code has to be a patronymic code because we are black. And if we look at the Constitution, that is a patronymic code that we can follow but not actually use because that's someone else's code of conduct and code of building wealth and prosperity that is able to be passed through an heirship for generations and for perpetuity.
But 99% of all the blacks in the country, whether they got an education from college or not, they don't know what the Constitution is all about. The Constitution was the first affirmative action plan in the United States, and it was written strictly and solely for white folk. That's why in the Constitution, 1 up to 12 is for white people. In those 12 amendments, you'll hear him talking about, he'll be talking about things like using very broad and ambiguous terms so that black folk can never figure out what the Constitution was about.
If black people put black people first, then we will take the planet back. That's the fact.
We have already survived the Middle Passage. We have survived the crack epidemic. We have survived mass incarceration. We have survived all type of experiments. And here we are still standing. Being black is being resilient. That is the code. It's embedded in our DNA.
Like that's the blood that's in your veins. When you know that, and you know Mansa Musa was the richest person ever. When you understand that, and you understand where you come from, and you understand that anything is possible, you will understand that abundance is your birthright, right? Stop resisting you're resisting your greatness. Stop resisting your greatness. You great. And once you understand that, and you understand your greatness, right? I am greatness on display.
We are, in some ways, slumbering giants that are waking up to ourselves, waking up to our greatness, waking up to our power, waking up to what we are here to do. But I'm here to tell you that there's more inside of you, and that there's something in you that's ready to come out for the world. And when it does, the world will never be the same. You are the answer to someone's prayer.
So this is the rise to wake up to our power. We're not disempowering anybody by being who we are. The whole world needs black power. And as long as black power is suffering, then everybody gonna be suffering. They think they're gonna steal from us, rob from us, beat us down, chain us, and they not gonna suffer from that.
You got to push forward for the sake of the ancestors who did it for you, and they couldn't even see what the future could possibly be.
What you got to remember is that when your mother and father gave birth to you, they gave birth to themselves. And when your grandparents gave birth to your mother and father, they gave birth to themselves. And when your great parents gave birth to your grandparents, they gave birth to themselves.
In order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, 32 third great-grandparents.
The way you bring it out of yourself is to learn how to remember.
64 fourth great-grandparents, 128, 256, 512, 1024, 2048. For you to be born today from 12 previous generations, you needed a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years.
So you, the individual, is the combination of millions of ancestors, millions of ideas, millions of concepts, millions of thoughts, all embedded in your DNA, in your cell.
Think for a moment. How many struggles, how many battles, how many difficulties, how much sadness, how much happiness, how many love stories, how many expressions of hope for the future did your ancestors have to undergo for you to exist in this present moment?
The way you bring it out of yourself is to learn how to remember. And one of the ways to learn how to remember is to have an ancestral altar where you go and have conversation with that part of you that lived yesterday. Because those ancestors, that was you yesterday. Your children, that is you tomorrow.
This film is dedicated to our ancestors, and a special dedication to my mom, Miss Gwendolyn Lewis, who made a transition during the production of this film. Mom, I love you.
I'm putting black first for you, Mom. Shout out to Jason Black.
A couple here that met on their way down to speed dating last year.
So I just have to say that it's just so good to see so many Black people in one room that's looking for Black love. And I just want to tell you just to keep the faith.
To put Black people first, we got to give love a chance.
One thing I told Keisha at the B1 ball last year is that destiny doesn't ask permission. So if it's meant to be, it'll happen.
It's going to take black love at a deeper level. It's going to take long-term, sustainable, invested black love.
I was looking for love again. I wasn't really sure if I would find it. And I came to the All Black National Convention last year, and I found the love of my life.
Someone asked me about it 6 months ago, Dr. Fraser, what has happened to black people? I said, I want to say the next thing and still be loved, everybody. But I'll keep it simple. We changed when our music changed. Two generations ago, when we started calling ourselves niggas, bitches, and hoes, we changed.